welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. So how are you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, recovering from Extra Life and a visit from a decrepit ancient video store. Yeah, I had a visit from the vid store.
The vid store.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out ways to cover it up. I mean, we can't call it the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
That's true. I mean, at least, you know, you're recovered, you feel better, I think the hot sauce helped a bit.
Oh, especially the last bit that burned everything out of every bit of me.
So just for everyone who is listening, possibly in the distant future, we did like one of those hot wing challenges where we do progressively hotter sauces, and we had some interesting results with that, including vomiting, coughing up, hacking.
We lost somebody. We did lose somebody. All right,
we did. They're gone. They got better though.
Yeah, they did.
No, my week has been a kind of a clusterfuck. We found a dog.
Oh yeah, you posted this up on Discord. That,
yeah,
you know, you found a.
We found the owner for the dog, and then like now we're trying to get the money that me and my coworkers spent treating the dog, which thankfully the vet was like, "This ain't your dog, so we're not gonna, you know, they charged us a fraction of what it costs. They just needed, a charge.
Mm-hmm.
They were just happy that we came in and, got the dog treatment because it had like lacerations on its leg, potentially from going through a fence or something. So we haven't heard back from that. My wife's car broke down.
Oh no!
And then I got a flat tire.
Oh, well, the flat tire is like the least painful of all of those. Like, it's not cheap, but...
Yeah. Well, overall, it's been a week. But, I'm excited to sit here and talk about something that actually, like, it's one of those things that, intertwine with something we've already talked about before. So how much do you know about the Honey Island swamp monster?
I know that when I was doing research for some of the stuff I found on the Fou Follette, that the same, let me go through my sources here so I can make sure to cite the people correctly. The main thing I know is they mentioned it loosely in that, it could be something, it could not be something, but usually the areas that it's seen in are so remote and inaccessible that you're looking from over 100 yards away. So is it this thing, or was it somebody's Uncle Daryl?
Well, I mean, that's the big thing here. It is a creature that is seen in the Honey Island swamp, which is a giant swamp.
Yeah,
it's huge, and it's one of the more dangerous swamps in Louisiana. Now, saying dangerous swamp is kind of redundant. You shouldn't be out in a swamp if you don't know what you're doing. And if you do know what you're doing, you probably know that you need to be very careful because swamps are winding and they're dangerous and they have a whole lot of creepy crawlies that will be interested in you if,
Also, and is Honey Island down near Iberia?
It's near Slidell.
Yeah. Okay, so it's over...
It's in St. Tammany Parish.
Okay. So, I mean, that's not too far from the salt domes down there, right? Anybody from South Louisiana might correct us, but I do know that several of the salt domes that are down there have a tendency, because we have mined a whole lot of it out, to collapse, which means the swamp might turn into a whirlpool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen the picture, or I've seen the video of that where you see, like, the tree just...
Like, you see a whole-ass cypress tree that's, like, been there for centuries, like...
Just gets swallowed by the swamp. Whoop. It's like, yeah, you don't want to be near that. No, this is, I'm not sure of the exact location. I know that Slidell is, I mean, obviously it's only about 30 miles, I believe, away from New Orleans.
No, I'm completely wrong. That's nowhere near the salt domes. That is... Oh, it's not far from Abita Springs, though.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's in that area. It's like if you picture Louisiana in your head, that's the kind of area Slidell is. Just kind of nestled in its own little spot, surrounded by swamp, and near all the places you want to go in Louisiana. But in the Honey Island Swamp is a creature supposedly called the Honey Island Swamp Monster, which is also called the Cajun Sasquatch. Now, we're going to get into something I was kind of surprised at, because every time I hear about the Honey Island Swamp Monster, I always pictured it, like, I think there was, like, some beers around here, some microbrews that pictured it as, like, reptilian. But apparently it is...
NOLA Brewing did that. They made it look more like a chupacabra.
Yeah, I think that might be what I'm thinking of. And like some other stuff out there, some art depictions always made it look reptile-like. But apparently it is a haired creature that is at least 7 feet tall. And we're going to get into something here. Before we get into this, I want you to kind of like think back to some of the things we've talked about. And you're like neurons might start firing once I start describing this creature. Large haired creature, kind of a weird body, hairy, like with grayish hair, sometimes said reddish brown. It's said to have a mane-like hair that travels from its head and neck all the way down, almost dragging to its dragging on the ground. But its most distinct feature are reptile-like feet with 3 toes.
Okay.
It also has amber eyes, and it stank. It's stanky boy.
Well, I mean, that's like every Sasquatch. There is an odor. But let's be fair. If this is a undiscovered primate,
Yeah.
primates, like, if we don't bathe, we're stinky. But have you ever been, like, when you've gone by the chimpanzee enclosures or by a gorilla enclosure?
Yeah, they don't smell good.
There is a pungent odor that it makes sense. Also, if it's a big hairy animal, we're lucky the thing isn't like, it is probably its own walking ecosystem.
Yeah.
That much hair and everything.
Yeah, and you're talking about a hairy creature in the swamp in Louisiana. Like, that's a recipe for something stanky.
Yeah.
Right.
And on the 3 toes, there's plenty of things that can nip off a few that live through here.
I was actually alluding to the Falcon monster.
I know you were alluding to the Falcon monster. It's just that I was trying to remember how to pronounce it, so I didn't pronounce it another way that would get us demonetized wherever we post this.
The fuck monster?
The fuck monster.
The fuck monster. Coming out.
The Honey Island. Oh, that was my nickname back in the 70s, Chef.
It's like, yeah, man. They called me the fuck monster.
I made some movies over in Uptown outside New Orleans, and after that, life's just been hard. Came down here from York.
Man, streaming just destroyed my career. Pornhub just
Okay, we're going to cut most of this, but future Chris, you have to at least laugh when you hear this, because if Bigfoot was 100% real, the number of weird porns filmed out in the woods that people have made, you would have caught Bigfoot been like, fuck y'all doing?
What are you doing?
That's my yard.
I was about to deconstruct a salmon. I need that area. What are you doing? That's my rock.
I'm gonna have to disinfect everything.
Oh my god.
Humans. This is why we don't associate with you. It's also why we don't share like the cure for cancer with you.
They have all the secrets to the universe, but since we're fucking on their salmon rock, they're just like, no, we're not.
Man,
we're not dealing with you.
You know, Bigfoot's like, I'm not even gonna share the good kush with you. Only we know where the good kush is.
Oh, you think your kush is good? You don't know what you're fucking missing. And then he just walks off. But he walks off in that way in the Patterson video where he's like, no one's gonna see this. I don't know why I'm miming.
No, but again, hey, if it ever becomes legal, we got to open up a company in Honey Island.
Honey Island Kush.
Honey Island Good Kush.
Okay, but yeah, I figured like that connection would be very interesting. I always thought I didn't always think, but I immediately when I looked into this, I immediately thought of the Falcon Monster.
Falcon Monster. Something that'll be interesting when we start spreading out to other states and start looking at it, like eventually go to Skunk Ape and stuff like that, is will the three-toed
thing be a
thing continue? Because, my brain kind of goes, is this maybe like harking back to when actually like giant sloths wandered through the area? The big thing
that I wanted to do, like once I started really reading it, and okay, so I didn't initially make the connection because in the Falcon Monster, it's just three toes.
Part 1 or part 2?
What do you mean?
Part 1 or part 2, or the third, the reawakening?
Oh, no, we're talking... I thought you were talking about the podcast. I was like, we haven't recorded that much. But, no, in the first one, that makes the claim of the three toes. They only say that it's a three-toed monster. They don't... but it's implied that the creature is like a full ape-like creature, just happens to have three toes. And in our podcast of it, we talked about maybe it was a mutation.
Yeah.
This is saying, no, it's like reptile feet, webbed feet with claws, and it even apparently has like the fourth, like...
Oh, it's got like the dew claw digit.
Yeah, the dew claw. And so... like, despite the fact that there are similarities, there's like subtle differences. So I went and looked to see.
Investigated.
I went and investigated.
No, researched. Investigate means like you went to the site.
Yes. I went and researched the dates on everything, and it doesn't match up. So, like, everything that happened with the Falcon Monster was mostly like it happened somewhat in the 60s, but the main thing, the one with the Fords experience, like actually having a 1-to-1, that happened sometime in the 70s and didn't really blow up that much. The first sighting of this was like 1963 to 1965, so there's a pretty substantial gap between
and there's a couple hundred miles between the two.
Yeah. And we're talking about the 60s and 70s, which I'm not saying that like people were completely cut off, but definitely not as connected as they are now.
They might have actually had the good kush.
So, what is the Honey Island Swamp Monster?
Is it a Bigfoot?
Well, I mean, yeah, they say it's a Bigfoot-like creature. It's called the Cajun Sasquatch. It's thrown into the whole not Cajun, but the whole Sasquatch mythos. But it has some very unique, let's just say, origins.
Okay, because like I thought the way you were giggling with this, like, are you about to tell me like other things that stand out about it? Is this thing's just walking around, it turns around, and everybody's like, that's all the way down to its knees.
Oh yeah, no, it has a huge hog. Actually, a hog actually factors into here, but not that kind of hog.
Okay, I was gonna say you gotta have to cut this, but at the same time, like you're over there giggling, and I thought it was gonna be like a weird thing, like it's got two butts, like
yeah, no, it has like three butts. It's like The Simpsons. It can like
hold on. You say is it like? Are we talking about like Total Recall? Like there's just three cheeks. There's like three individual butts.
I don't know.
We would need to keep that for when we create our own cryptid later.
Yeah, we need the three-cheek swamp monster. I couldn't think of a good name on the.
No, the three-cheek swamp monster probably would work with there is a out in Black Bayou, past Monroe.
Black Bayou's three-cheek swamp monster.
It has all of its toes though. We're definitely going to give it all its toes.
It stinks, but not in like the hairy ape way. Just like
it's Axe body spray, man.
It's just Axe body spray. But if you get close enough, you realize it's trying to cover up its scent because it keeps fucking farting. Holy shit! It's just it had beans for lunch.
Oh god, I love doing this.
Okay, so what do you think the first origin, most prevailing theory of where it comes from?
I would say that there's probably, just going off if it's a Sasquatch, that there's probably some connection to like Native Americans and talking about like a wild man out in the woods.
You're wrong. You're
Oh,
completely
wow.
wrong.
Wow.
The prevailing theory is that some chimpanzees escaped from a circus into the swamp and made it with alligators.
What?
That's
No, hold on. I gotta say this one in. What in the country fried fuck?
slight L. Like, no, that is okay. So that is one of the prevailing theories, or it's like one of the urban legends that
That's
came.
not how biology works.
Okay,
That's a reptile and a human, or a humanoid. That is that's a primate. Oh my god.
Okay, so some people think here's a little bit more a little bit more grounded.
For anyone that's listening, I'm making a face. It's making him laugh because. You know what? I want to say that they wouldn't, but I know chimpanzees are our slightly more messed up cousins. So I can't say they wouldn't.
There's also another theory out there that it was created in the NASA Stennis Space Center in Mississippi, which is only like 20 miles.
Wait, NASA has a... Okay. I believe chimpanzees mated with alligators before I believed that there is a NASA station in Mississippi.
It's technically... Okay. So it's technically a propulsion test site. So they test like fuel and propulsion and things.
Okay, this I would believe that they would make it go zoom in Mississippi. Like,
yeah. So so some people think that, and like I was watching some documentaries, they're like, yeah, they could have just made some things with humans over there. It's like that's not what they do there. They do rocket stuff. They don't do biology stuff. It is so like backcountry sort of logic. They hear like NASA, or they hear
then they go they having sex with aliens there.
Yeah. Someone said aliens. Someone like, I'm like, what the? Come on. Like, I'm not trying to belittle my people here, but goddamn, come on, have some sense.
I'll fire shots at Mississippi. I got a lot of family over there. In fact, the more I go to Mississippi, the more of the state I find out I'm related to, and that's an embarrassment.
Oh, well, I mean, we're in Louisiana, so...
Hey, we're 46, they're 50.
Yeah, that's true,
Thank God for Arkansas and Alabama.
Just stay in there, Arkansas and Alabama. Just keep us away. Okay, so those are two theories. There's some other theories,
I need more of these theories. I need something to make me feel better about my life right now.
I mean, there's ones that say it's like an ancient primordial art, like, what is it, prehistory creature or something from the...
Are they trying to say it might be more like a genus loci, like more of a spirit, or...
No, like, it's something that that's prehistoric.
Oh, okay, just saying like it's some like evolutionary holdover.
Yeah, which...
Okay, look, I can't say 100% no on that, because if the coelacanth hadn't been found in Madagascar, it would have been in Lake Pontchartrain.
But here's the thing. Here's the problem with this one, monster specifically, is the fact that it just has like this weird trait of having like lizard feet. Now, with the falcon monster, like, there's a logic there, I think. Or with Sasquatch, there's a logic that extends to the falcon monster, because you can be, it's three-toed. It might have, had an injury or a mutation or something like that. This is like a fucking chimera, where things are just kind of haphazardly.
So it just got Baba Yaga feet walking through the swamp.
Yeah. Now, if Baba Yaga lives in the swamp, which like, Honey Island's a big fucking swamp. It's a huge swamp, so maybe Baba Yaga's out there. She was like, I'm tired of Russia. It's too fucking cold. And
Future episode talking about swamp witches.
Yeah, that is good. I like that. But anyway, we're getting off track. Are we getting off track? We're not really getting.
No, we're having a good time, and that's part of this podcast, right? Is that we actually are enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah. But honestly, like, when it comes down to like all the theories on its origins, those two are like the two main ones I talked about were the ones that were the most interesting, just because they were so ridiculous.
Chimp Gator and NASA Experiment.
Yeah, the fact that
the SAG strike and the writer strike's over. We need to pitch this to Sci-Fi. Have this Honey Island Swamp Monster versus the Rougarou.
that would be cool. I would love to see that. Also, like just getting into some of the appearances people talked about was like The Thing. These are later accounts, by the way. The Thing,
Like talking about John Carpenter's The Thing.
yeah.
Ooh, that makes the Honey Island Swamp Monster like 1,000 times more scary.
I saw references to like there is some Cronenberg stuff that was thrown out there, but like alluded to, but there was like different other things. I think it was Swamp Thing, Marvel's Swamp Thing,
DC.
or is it DC?
DC owns Swamp Thing.
DC. Okay, I haven't been into comics in a while.
By the way, if anybody wants a fun watch, and if any streaming service out there will find a way to do it, the old 90s Swamp Thing TV show, if you could put that out there for me to stream again and rewatch, I would love it.
Yeah.
Not that it ever should have been on like a block that kids could have watched, though.
Okay, so why don't we get into like the first appearance or the first sighting of the Honey Island?
I would
Swamp
love that.
Monster. Okay, so out in the 1960s, 1962 or 1963, I believe, Billy Mills and Harlan Ford, another connection. Like, I think it's just a coincidence, but the Ford family and the Falcon Monster story.
Yeah,
now,
but at the same time,
Ford.
Ford's not.
It's not a
not that
terribly
uncommon.
yeah. I just thought it was funny.
I mean, we actually know a couple Fords.
They
just don't go by that name.
But these were two outdoorsmen that would go out into the Honey Island Swamp just to hunt, fish, camp, do all the things an outdoorsman would like to do. But one day they were taking out supplies to their camp, and they saw what looked to be a giant creature on all fours, maybe digging things up. They went back to their car, got some guns, started approaching, and when they got closer, Billy Mills, as a countryman would do, is what's that thing, in a very loud tone. And what does it do? It stands on its hind legs, looks at them. Now, here's an interesting bit from Harlan Ford. He had said at this moment he thought it was a bear until it stood up and turned around. Now, this is a big thing when it comes to Bigfoot, is that usually it's like a bear.
I'll be honest, like, as far as I'm concerned, as one of the I think I'm the slightly more skeptical on some of this stuff.
I wouldn't say I'm not skeptical. I'm just charitable to Bigfoot.
I want Bigfoot to be real so bad, but my thing is like 90% of them is like, you just described a bear, and you were lucky you didn't get bared, because I believe bear can also be a verb.
Yeah, they didn't get bared. What happened is that he said that it stood up. He thought it was a bear. It looked at him and said it had a strangely human face, and then it ran into the woods. Now,
the only thing I'll say that'll give this story a little bit of credence to me, it's not in a lot of Bigfoot sightings, the individuals went back and got their guns.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, I'm sorry. Any type of large primate in the South not getting shot to hell by some of the Southern boys down here is like the thing that makes Skunk Ape and Honey Island and Falk and some of these other like Southern Bigfoots hard for me to believe, is because like the most believable scene in a horror movie to me is Slither. When Nathan Fillion says, "Shoot it!" The fuck is that? Like, shoot it came out before. What is that? And I'm like, that is the most realistic.
That's the most small town shit someone could ever say.
But no, that's not just small town. I believe that's the most human reaction of, I have no clue what that is.
And to be fair, with the Falk story, the Fords did look for the creature and were armed.
That's true.
Yeah. But what this set off for Harlan Ford was 10 years or more of him searching for the creature. So it made national headlines. He talked about it there, but he also searched for it and didn't have a lot of luck for a little while until he found a dead boar in the close to
the hog you talked about.
Yeah,
earlier.
we're talking about the hog again. Just there's so many hogs in this story. I'm sorry. So
I don't think this hog was bigger, longer, and uncut.
No. Well, it was cut.
That's why I was just trying to make a South Park joke.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't get it. So it was splayed out. It was butchered, but it was not eaten. It looked like a fight took place, and around the hog, this giant hog, was some tracks, and these were the tracks that Harlan plastered and displayed, and eventually he shown as evidence. Now, if you know anything about like Bigfoot or Bigfoot adjacent stuff, like that, the quality of evidence there is pretty low. Like,
let's be fair, plaster casts of footprints usually are not 100% accurate because they look way too much like an actual foot. Okay, I understand that you can get like a whole human foot. Like we have archaeological stuff like in stone of a whole human foot of people walking, but it's extremely hard to get like a full foot cast.
Yeah, and the thing is,
and half the time 2 of the toes get combined anyway.
Again, we're talking about the when we go back to the Falcon Monster, it's a plaster of the feet or of the footprint that is the where the initial claim that it has those type of feet.
Right. Also, they had to come back to do the plaster. Like, I don't believe this dude would just all of a sudden had plaster Paris in his back pocket.
Yeah, there's a lot that's not lining up here, which actually goes into the next part I'm getting into, which is the skepticism that built around this. Of course, Harlan was someone that was constantly pushing this and saying that he was investigating, but there were people that were skeptical. There were I don't know if it's Holyfield or Holyfield. I watched their interview, and oh boy, they got one of them backwoods accents where like
did they have the subtitle?
They didn't. It was close. Like they said Holyfield or Gasline, where it's like
okay, so it's like Earl.
Yeah.
It's like someone saying I work in the Earl business.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like things.
Okay.
You know, their accent kind of blends together. But Ricky and Woody Holyfield, we're gonna say Holyfield. It's gonna get confusing because Harlan's granddaughter is named Dana Holyfield, not spelt the same, but still.
I say no relation.
No relation. They claim to have found the fake foot that made the footprints. Now Dana says it isn't right because Harlan Ford was a tall man. He was 6'4", and the shoe itself would not have fit him because, you know, such a tall man needs big feet. Now, I'm going to tell you this now. I'm a 6-foot person. I don't have, like, super big feet for my height.
Well, let's put it this way. You're like 6'4".
Yeah.
But I'm 6-footish. Like,
Yeah.
I'm either... Depends if I stand up straight that day. But I only wear a size 10.
I wear, like, a size 12. Which is like they didn't go into.
It's not like Moose went clomping into the swamp.
Yeah, They didn't go into the specifics. She's just like, yeah, it's too small. It's too small. And they actually showed a picture of the shoe, and you see it initially. It's like, this looks like shit. Like, you could tell what that is. Like, because it looks like 3 sticks sitting out with like a nub right there on like fucking glued onto a shoe. And you're like, that's not going to fool anyone. And then you look at the plaster, you're like, oh, yeah, that actually looks.
Yeah, this might track. This might track at this point. Track.
Again,
T-shirt idea. This might track.
it like, I'm not going to say that Harlan Ford did or didn't do anything, but that to me was a good amount of evidence to say something's fishy here. The red lights were going off in my head. However, he did, like, this whole episode would culminate in another national or at least regional news break, which would force Harlan back out of the public life. Kind of just being like, okay, I'm
done. I'm good.
However, he didn't stop looking for the creature, allegedly. This is we're now getting into Dana Holyfield's testimony on this, or her account of her grandfather's actions back in those. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's coming from a biased source. So I'm not saying that Dana Holyfield is a bad person or that she's lying or anything like that. I'm saying
we're not accusing any Ford, any Holyfield, anybody
of anything. I'm saying that, like,
but we did accuse NASA of something.
We did accuse NASA of making the fucking Honey Island swamp monster. What are you doing, NASA? You're supposed to be making rockets.
They had to make it to fight Elon Musk.
Oh, okay. I see what happened. They were like, if anyone else comes in the private sector, we're going to have to. But fortunately, Elon's kind of beating himself up. But anyway, in 1980, Harlan died. And they went through his stuff, and they found some Super 8 footage.
Was it the Honey Island swamp monster?
It was the Honey Island swamp monster.
Or was it heart disease?
Probably heart. They don't say. I didn't really actually.
We live in the South, dude. Like, I think it's like a 9 out of 10 shot. It was heart disease.
Like, this man probably ate fried food like every other day.
We did that just a minute ago. Don't judge.
Yeah, well, it was air fried. We were healthy about it.
We literally soaked it in butter and hot sauce.
Don't. They don't have to know that. They don't have to. We're healthy. We're healthy.
We are not.
But they found some Super 8 footage in his house, which contained.
Oh, do you have a video for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I have concerns because you told me it's a Super 8 film footage.
Yeah. Well, I want you to look at it.
At least you didn't say 5mm. If you said 5mm, I'd be like, Chris, this is not the type of podcast for that.
Yeah, it's a. God damn it. Oh my god. Okay, so this was from Harlan, and it's apparent. I want to keep saying. I keep wanting to say Harlan Crow, which is, we are not a political podcast.
No, we're not. No.
Harlan Ford. This is his footage of.
Where is this video actually from, so we can give them credit? Because I'm pretty sure it just ended.
Oh,
now we're on to some Oni stuff. Anyway, no, yeah. I saw the figure in a ghillie suit moving through the backwoods, like every other Bigfoot video.
Yeah. It's okay. So first,
you told me either had red hair or gray hair. That was like a solid black-haired figure just going boop-a-loop-a-loop.
Yeah. Well, I have read different things. I've heard gray, red, white, black hair.
Well, gray makes sense because eventually they get old.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going gray and I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah, I mean, I got white hairs sprouting up, but it's just one of those videos where you've probably seen a video like this on YouTube before, where you see a vaguely hairy creature moving
50 to 70 yards off in the woods,
moving behind trees. It's an interesting picture, or it's an interesting video for the time.
Well, here's the deal: it's like, I always want to believe in those. I've always wanted to believe in those videos because it makes the world bigger. instead of smaller like we keep doing to it. So like having something like that would be so cool, but I've seen so many of those, it sets off like 8 red flags for me. It's kind of like the video that they show. And then the bear ran through the woods, and here's a recreation. It's just a dude holding up a cardboard cutout of a bear going balloon, balloon, balloon behind somebody's trees.
Yeah. I mean, I like the video in the sense that it seems interesting, it seems intriguing, but just everything around this, I just don't get the same feeling of intrigue generally that I would with like the Falk Monster or the Rougarou or anything like that, because as with any other creature like this, it's kind of become like a tourist attraction, and that's cool. Like, you got to make your money, especially if you're a small town in the South. You got to get that dough somehow. But
Gotta make that bread.
it doesn't feel as like, it really weirdly does not feel as ingrained as something like the Rougarou, where it's...
Well, no, I mean, the Rougarou has a couple centuries worth of history, where this one's coming from the 1960s, when, like, every other state was having a Bigfoot sighting.
And even then, like, the places that were having the Bigfoot sightings, there was still history there. It doesn't... Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel
like
as...
Okay, here's my thing: is this makes me feel like I would feel the same about the Honey Island Swamp Monster as I did as if someone from outside of Boston saw Bigfoot. Like that's what I'm kind of getting from it. Is like there's it, and I don't mean that mean. And again, I really hope I'm wrong, because if all of a sudden they find a Honey Island Swamp Monster walks up, well, yes, I'm actually here. It would be great. It'd be 100% great.
You're all wrong. I'm from another dimension.
That's why I'm always blurry. Bye. Oh no, I gotta walk now. I ran out of mana. It's one of those. It's like it seems okay, because we're gonna keep going through this, and Bigfoot's one of those subjects we can talk about for days. And I want us to talk about it for days because Bigfoot does interest me, and I want I think I said this like 15 minutes ago. I want Bigfoot to be real.
And like I said, I'm charitable to Bigfoot. Like I said, I'm skeptical of Bigfoot, but I'm charitable.
Like, I so want Bigfoot to be real, but this one is hitting too many of the check marks for a Bigfoot thing, you know what I mean?
Well, it's also just silly. Like, it's apparently a cross between an alligator and a chimpanzee. So there's a little bit of that. But I was gonna say, even with Bigfoot, there's like a history of like sightings of that in Native American culture too, and that bled into the Falk Monster. That bleeds into like general lore about Bigfoot. This is just kind of like, I saw something with some weird ass legs.
You know, I'm going to actually be charitable concluding this. I'm going to give them that they saw something in the woods that was weird.
I can say that. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of natural stuff in the woods.
That's weird.
That's weird.
It could very well just be like, okay, it could just very, very well be that Ford saw something weird initially and really wanted to bring it out, and then maybe
embellish. We all tell tall tales.
Yeah. So that's the Honey Island Swamp Monster. What did you think?
That is actually a fun story.
It's a cool story. It's fun. I
like that NASA got brought in.
NASA did get brought in. Like I said, it doesn't feel as like intriguing as something maybe like the Rougarou or the Falk Monster or any other thing we talked about. But I do like it, and I would like to revisit it at some point just to get an idea on, just to get a better idea on the creature in general. But yeah, that's us.
That's us. Because we don't have our own separate stuff just yet. I don't think. I don't know when this is going live. You're the one editing. I fully enjoy this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not responsible for much of anything other than research. It's awesome. But you can find stuff we're associated with, like we are Connected Team Bonus Action, which is a online RPG group. We play once to twice a week normally, and we sometimes have video games. So, and we always work with a charity. I don't know when this is going live. We're either doing Extra Life or we might be donating to the Trevor Project. If you can give us a look at tba.com. or find TBA or Team Bonus Action on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky,
Twitter.
No, that's bonus_team on Twitter. But you can find a lot of information about us at teambonusaction.com. And we may have stuff up here in the near future if this actually takes off and anybody actually likes listening to us. So that's us, and bon we.
Hope you have a good night.